That's right, America. You are listening to the 127th rated podcast in Ghana.
Under the political subdivision of subcategory.
It's very specific.
We are huge in Belgium. We're growing in America.
And we're getting there in Ghana.
Right. Welcome to Lockpod. We're hoping after this episode we're 126th in Ghana.
We can always hope. There's always something to hope for.
Welcome to Lockpod, left of center.
How was your Veterans Day, by the way? Thank you for your service, of course.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Did 6 years in the Bilge for you, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do.
Yeah.
Specifically for you, Kevin.
Well, for
I was
America.
thinking about you. We didn't know each other yet.
No, that's all he thought about while he was on the submarine is Kevin Smith.
There's some guy that someday
He's
I'm
in
going to
college
be
enjoying himself, dating women, and I'm in the sub.
with 130 guys.
Dating men. Whoa. Well, we weren't dating.
But thank you.
Just a lot of flirtation.
A lot of good guys.
I went underwater for
gals
months at a time. I mean,
that have served our country.
Yeah. I'm on one conversation, you're on another.
I'm just trying to thank our veterans.
I am.
Including
you.
you.
Thank you, veterans. It's very nice how we do Veterans Day now. I'm trying to figure out when it changed. I was talking to Commissioner Repay last night and Mayor Speedbar. I was trying to figure out when it changed, when people actually started saying Happy Veterans Day and stuff. Do you guys have any idea? I think we came up with it.
I'm going to say after 9/11.
Good job. Exactly.
Wow.
That's what we all said too.
Yep.
Yeah. After 9/11, it all changed. Like people appreciated veterans because I was a veteran for 10 years before 9/11, nobody gave a crap. Like nobody said anything. I cared, but
post-Vietnam to 9/11, I think that's where you had a very
post-Vietnam, nobody gave a crap. In fact, as we all know, unfortunately, our Vietnam veterans were spit on and yelled at and disrespected when they got home, and after fighting a horrible guerrilla war in the jungles, which is an embarrassment in American history. But now we do it the right way. We treat our veterans with respect, the way we should. I mean, after all, each veteran, I gave up 6 years of my life. Literally. I didn't have control of my body. I didn't have control of where I lived for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think the decision to put country before yourself is something that's really to be admired.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So, good job.
Hey, how you feeling?
I've been boosted.
I heard.
Yeah, it was good. Actually, this is kind of funny.
Are you strong? No sickness?
No sickness.
See, Marissa thinks you're weak if you don't get sick.
Right.
I think it's ass backwards, personally. I think the strong.
How's that logic work?
I agree, because it's Marissa logic, right?
Well, here, because Marissa got sick, so she must be the one that's strong.
I got sick and you didn't, which means you're weak. And I'm like, my brain works exactly opposite, I'll be honest. You got sick and I didn't, which means I'm strong.
And you're weak.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's Marissa logic.
I'm with you.
Marissa logic rules my house. But when I walk out, I mock it, right? She's listening right now.
Yeah, she's probably like, oh.
Happy anniversary, sweetheart. It's our anniversary tomorrow.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Very good. You got big plans?
Yeah. We're staying local.
Nice.
Doing a little dinner.
Jalapenos?
No. No. Benito. We're going to see Benito at Gambas, which is...
happy anniversary in advance.
I'll be honest with you.
Of you.
I took Marissa and Pat last week downtown, and Chase and Eileen.
And not me.
You were
Lindsay
working.
I wasn't invited.
I
was working on Tuesday or on Monday.
I think you were.
I was. I don't work
you
Mondays.
Didn't answer your phone.
He didn't call.
Oh. Okay. So anyway, I take you guys out to dinner. I take all my kids out to dinner.
I took all my kids but my daughter to dinner.
Well, he gets to see you on Fridays here at the podcast.
I get to see you.
So much better.
Have I ever taken you out to dinner, sweetheart, and you and your husband?
Once or twice.
I mean,
here and there.
Dozens and dozens of times. Thank you. Okay. Usually when we're close to one of our kids, we invite them out to dinner. And Lindsay lives
and we went to Chicago, so Chase got to get invited. So anyway, and Patrick just comes along.
This is sort of,
it's turning into like a
Patrick,
session.
sorry. I should just leave Patrick at home, right?
He's, 15 now? How old is he?
So from now on, Patrick's not invited. But anyway,
you're out.
The moral of the story is I went to a restaurant downtown, which is nice, but the bill was ridiculous. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't better in Gambas. I mean, Gambas would have been, for that meal, let's say $200.
I mean, no offense to Valpo, but if I live in Hammond, if I need to drive 45 minutes for dinner, I'd rather drive downtown, personally.
Are you talking about Marissa's favorite restaurant of all time?
Which one? The Gage?
In Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like,
some friends
it was okay.
The Gage
too. It was solidly okay.
Which restaurant is that?
The Gage. It's on Michigan.
It's really
it's really nice. It's nice.
Marissa
it's like
took
an
me
Irish.
once.
It's got an Irish little twist to it.
She took you?
Yeah,
there you go. So what are you giving me shit for, Lindsay?
I wanted.
You went there before.
I was available Monday.
Really? I'm sorry. I just assume you're not.
This is
I
turning.
met the owner of the Gage.
This is like Should I lay down?
You guys are airing it out here.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's just become the McDermott family counseling.
Yeah, you guys go away.
Lindsay
Lindsay and I have a couple things to talk about.
Yeah,
I can't tell if our viewership's going up or down.
It's a new segment.
We have a huge guest today, which is awesome. Mayor Joe Hogsett's going to be here.
Yeah,
right
stay
top
tuned.
Of the hour.
Stay tuned for Mayor Joe.
We got a lot of stuff we want to cover before Mayor Joe steps in. We got some serious mailbag today.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of mailbag.
Dude, that's awesome.
Everyone go get your booster.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Do we have a happy birthday wish today?
We do. John?
Oh, my gosh. We do. Another super top fan on Facebook, Kendra Fabunmi.
Hi, Kendra.
Happy birthday. From Valpo by way of Wanata. I mean, we have some fans like outliers.
That was great.
That was a kiss from Mayor.
I was wondering where that kiss was coming from.
For Kendra.
It was like in my left ear.
Happy birthday, Kendra.
There you go, Kendra.
Thanks for listening.
Kiss from the
It was
locomotive.
a smooch. It was not a makeup.
You know, I saw you
Not many
on
people
Thursday,
can say that.
And you looked, yes, true. I saw Mayor Tom on Thursday, and he looked beat.
I was dog tired.
Yeah.
My campaign manager's running me ragged. It's ridiculous.
Where did he
What's
send
going
you?
on?
Mayor Tom Travels? Is that the segment we're doing?
We need like an on-the-road music, John.
Yeah,
Remember we were
John.
talking about that.
This isn't working.
It needs to be like, we don't need John's lips.
It doesn't work.
He'll be looking for
Mayor
that.
Tom Travels. We could.
We'll work on it.
Season 5 is going to include sound effects.
We
Mayor
said that
Tom
in season
Travels.
2.
So check this out. This is a really interesting trip that I took this week.
All
Okay,
right.
met a lot of people. I did a lot of good work. Actually, I'm really proud of myself. Started off with we got a one-way car rental at Midway Airport. One way because I knew that I was going to fly home from after this trip. So from Midway, I take off and I drive to Elkhart to meet with Mayor Rob Robertson, who's by the way a former basketball player in the Big Ten, played for Northwestern.
Yeah, Rod is impressive. Northwestern scholarship, got drafted in the NBA, played in Europe.
He got drafted in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny we didn't even talk about that. We thought he's a great guy.
I think he was he a council member for a long time, then he became mayor?
I'm trying to remember.
I want to say 16 years in the council, then became mayor.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
First term mayor of Elkhart.
Yeah, first term mayor. And he had a contested primary and he won. And I tell you, you could just feel like when you get around certain people, they have this energy, and his energy is real positive vibe. He's real happy. He's just like, I tell you, I know why people voted for him. You could just, as soon as I met him, you were with me when I met him.
We met him in French Lake.
I think John was there too. And like, there's just something about his energy. He's just like, hey, just
he's got like an Elkhart baseball hat on, you know, like stuff like that.
So anyway, him and I click. Like, you could just tell we're the types of personalities that just click. And I'm in his office and I'm on a tight schedule because my damn campaign manager's got me like running, right?
No rest for the weary.
So like, and I could tell like Kevin's like, worst case scenario, you got to be out of that office at 2:15 driving, right? And I'm sitting there in the middle of this great conversation with Mayor Roberson, right? And I look down at my watch, 2:20, and I'm like, and I still have to disengage from this conversation. I'm 5 minutes late already, right?
Yep.
So like I rudely interrupted our great conversation, took a picture with Mayor Roberson,
nice,
and hit the road from Elkhart to
Please
Fort
give me
Wayne.
That picture.
Now keep in mind, I got it all. I'm going over the top half of the state, but top 10% of the state. I'm literally driving north or across the top part of Indiana, end up in Fort Wayne where I meet with the county chair of Allen County.
Derek Camp,
great guy, young guy, which is another thing about the Democratic Party that's interesting is very young leadership is taking over.
Getting younger.
Yeah,
great.
He's 32-ish.
Yep.
And he's the Allen County chair, which is, I don't know, third biggest Democratic organization in the state. And he's a young guy, a great guy. I met him a number of times.
Ran for Senate, barely lost.
Right. Yeah. He's very politically active. Great guy. Him and I went to a brewery in Fort Wayne, had a great beer, and then I got my hotel room in Fort Wayne and had a long meeting with the mayor and the police chief and the corporate counsel and the utilities director at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, downtown Fort Wayne.
Wow. How is downtown Fort Wayne?
It's gorgeous. I'm telling you, man. And I've seen it over the years.
Sure.
I haven't stayed there in quite a while.
I was going to say 8 to 10 years for me.
Now picture this, guys. Fort Wayne downtown is like Valpo, Crown Point like feel, except for way, way bigger. There's 270,000 people that live in Fort Wayne.
It's like almost the size of like a Grand Rapids.
The housing stock reminds me of, like Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
But the housing stock reminds me of Hammond, actually, the region. When you get out of the downtown, it reminds me of the region a lot. When you're downtown, there's nothing I could compare it to. Grand Rapids is a great comparison. I'm telling you, Mayor Henry's
mid-sized, cool city.
Yeah, with stuff. Ruth's Chris. Yeah. Like they have a theater with like normal acts, like the acts that we try to get for our fest.
Hotels. They have a big stadium, right?
Too. They have the Tin Cat Stadium. I took a picture in front of there. Like, but anyway, like I tell you what, Mayor Henry, is top notch. He's done a great job. He's 4-term mayor of a Republican city.
Leaning city, right?
Yeah. It's
How's
like David.
What's the council?
5-4. I think it's Republican.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mayor Henry he's a 4-term mayor there, which is like just behind me. But
Think about that.
my job is a lot
city.
easier than his because his city is a lot bigger. And not only that, he's got an electorate that wants to vote Republican, and he's a Democrat. So his job is way more difficult than mine, I acknowledge. And his downtown is shining. He's done such an amazing job. Mayor Henry, tip your cap. But
so good meeting
great
there.
staff, yeah, long meeting. Crash, wake up the next morning. I have a meeting for breakfast downtown Fort Wayne with Phil Giaquinta, who's the minority leader of the Indiana House Democrats, another important person I need to meet with. So I have a great breakfast with him, and then I get into my car and start driving. So I'm driving south now. I end up in Fishers, Indiana, which is in the northern suburbs of Indianapolis, where I meet with Cynthia Johnson, who's the chairwoman of the 5th Congressional District.
Yeah, 5th District is basically south of Muncie and like eastern half of Indy and like down around Carmel, Fishers in that area, right?
Zionsville, over there. Carmel, yep. Fishers, right, yeah. Westville. So she's great. She's part of a growing segment of leaders, women leaders in the party, which is great. Hoosier Women Forward. I know she's intimately involved in that organization. So, I mean, I know Lindsay would be really proud of this. There's a lot of young women in leadership positions.
Like when you met Dana from Hamilton County Chair a couple of weeks ago.
She's a young African-American, 32, 33-year-old woman in charge of the Hendricks County Democrats.
Yeah, Hamilton,
excuse me.
Yeah,
Hamilton County Democrats
down there.
But she's amazing. But so anyway, Cynthia and I have a great meeting. I have really good connections with her because I know her vice and her treasurer, Catherine, and I know her vice, Peter Hanscom. So we have a lot of connections. Christina Hale is also one of those connections. So I leave there and I drive all the way down to New Albany, Indiana, where I meet with the mayor.
Those that don't know New Albany, it's literally right across the Ohio River from Louisville.
Right. So I do a 2 or 3 hour dinner there, and I drive limp across the river to Louisville, check into my hotel, crash, wake up the next morning, fly home.
Wow, that's a long week. And interestingly enough, in New Albany, it's called a lot of around the state, it's called Jefferson Jackson dinner. In New Albany, it's called the Sherman Minton dinner for United States Supreme Court Justice Sherman Minton.
Yeah,
who was from New Albany.
Right,
kind of cool.
New Albany. Right,
really cool. Well, good. That's a good week for you.
Yeah,
we're have to try to beat that next week. You want to do some quick ads?
Yeah, we got.
All right.
Oh, we're gonna do ads first. Okay.
Yeah, let's do. Our premier sponsor, Powering America.
Pow.
Hey, by the way,
Season 4 is powered by our premier sponsor.
I was called by Powering America. They said they didn't want you to do the ad anymore.
Oh, they didn't? All right, well.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Kevin got a little tear.
Well, then why did you say go ahead?
I was going to interrupt you, and then you just jumped
in. Yeah, that's why I think it's bullshit, because you said go ahead.
No, Powering America called and said, hey, we would appreciate it if the locomotive would do our ad. But I just said, hey, we're a partnership. Actually, I'm a minority partner in this business, so I got to let the boss do it,
You said it so seriously, Kevin was caught off guard.
I know.
I was like, where is he going with this?
I saw a tear.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it, though.
No, at this point, I'm just going to. If Powering America doesn't want me,
Powering America
they can have you.
You'll notice the difference, Powering America. Here we go. Right.
Okay.
Powering America, the premier sponsor. Season 4 is powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, who do you call? That's right, Powering America. That's who you call to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle charges and solar power solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of... That's right, Powering America.
Pow.
Visit Powering
Don't
Northwest.
Give him the pow, John.
Visit PoweringNorthwestindiana.org. That's PoweringNorthwestindiana.org. That's our
There you go,
sponsor.
Powering America. You happy now?
That's right.
I'm going to create a poll while you're doing that.
Byway, well, they're all going to vote for Tom. We know how the local vote. He wins elections.
That's right.
I expect him to win this election.
Ads better. Kevin or
Byway. Oh, this is a setup to see me just lose.
I'm even going to list your name first.
Oh God. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers, an unbeatable menu, and maybe their patios. I don't think their patios open.
Did you just vote while reading that ad?
Yep.
You are really...
That means he's got skills.
It's tied right now. It's dead heat, 50-50.
All right, keep going. Here you go. Here's your tryout.
Try Electronics. Try Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Try Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. We are dedicated to assisting our clients with their systems integration needs. We have the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 1-800-722-6793.
Grizzlies Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. Grizzlies Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the
California knows how to party.
It's a joint effort. Since 72, and also offers stamped and colored concrete. For more information or a project quote, call Grizzlies Concrete at 219-659-4127.
Midwest Air Duct Cleaning. At Midwest Air Duct Cleaning, your health is our number one priority. We are dedicated to providing top-notch quality services at an affordable price. Our technicians have been trained to shelter the members of your household from potential airborne contaminants. If you would like more information on how to protect the lungs of your home, call Marinko and his team at 219-671-8868 today.
All right, thank you to our...
You think we should just knock these out? Or?
Sure, go.
Let's go.
Keep going.
I'll go. Calumet Brewery. Calumet Brewery wants to tell you about Michelob Ultra. Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, all while being one of the fastest growing brands in the region. Or you can try Ultra Pure Gold, an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories, brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Enter to win a Michelob Ultra snowblower through calbrew.com. That's CALBREW.com. Check out Calumet Brewery's Facebook page for details.
Cal Brew better get that snowblower ready to roll.
I think we're challenging them.
Speaking of challenging, Challenger Learning Center. Look at you. Just like
segues.
It's Challenger Learning Center. This holiday season, visit Challenger Learning Center, who invites families to celebrate the season with a show full of classic holiday hits, all set to laser lights all aglow. The Holiday Laser Light Show will take place on Friday, December 17th at 4 and 6 p.m. Tickets are $12 and must be purchased in advance. Visit clcnwi.com or connect on social media at Challenger NWI on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
Hechas con amor.
Is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store. Yeehaw! And enjoy quality Mexican products.
He is like laying it on thick today, man.
We're about to reveal the results of this poll, too.
I hope I got more than my own vote.
It's pulling away from one of you.
I figured as much.
I thought you took Spanish 1.
He had a Spanish tutor, Lindsay.
And he doesn't know what HS means?
I took Spanish 1 for 4 years, thank you. I'm an expert in Spanish 1, Lindsay.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and metal cards you can count on. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. 2 convenient locations in Munster and Hammond. Misprint Printing. Thank you to all our sponsors, including our premier sponsor, who wants the locomotive to read the ad from here on out. Powering America.
Listen,
By the
guys.
way, oh, sorry. You know how good of a connection I have with the mayor of Elkhart? That mayor of Elkhart got a business card like mine.
Come on. You showed him in French Lick.
And he didn't get a medal. He got like a plastic. It's sort of like a
with
driver's
the QR
license.
code.
Another thing they do in Elkhart, they have IDs for all residents, including the residents that can't get driver's licenses.
Wow.
Like a city-issued ID. Cool guy, man.
Interesting.
Yeah. What were you going to say, John? I'm sorry.
I'm going to show the results of this poll, and I don't want either of you to get upset.
Oh, no.
This should be a growing moment.
Yeah?
Okay?
Oh, no.
Here we go.
This is not a growing moment.
Kevin, 61%.
Whoa.
What the hell is
reads
that?
the ads better.
Thank you, fans.
That's some bullshit.
And what I noticed was this was changing in real time as you guys were reading it.
Oh, like Tom
it was
would read
like
one,
a
you liked
tryout.
it.
It was an audition.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Sorry.
Screw you.
Sorry, Powering
Tom's
America.
going to leave.
Hey,
Like,
mailbag.
God damn it, this was my idea.
John, mailbag. By the way, stick around. We
Mailbag.
have Mayor Joe Hogsett on his way into
Coming
the
up.
studio
Let's get through
in
this
no
stuff.
time.
I
So.
think what the fans are telling us is they would rather have Kevin not talk and just do the ads, and they would have me just freelance. I think that's
I
what
knew
they're
there
trying
would be
to say.
some. I knew there'd be
I'm pretty
some
sure
way that Kevin would end up on the bottom of
Right.
this
They would rather just
conversation.
Kevin like check out of the conversation, just let me do all the freelance, and then Kevin just does the boring
So
shit.
just
Might
like
be onto
shut up
something.
and do your ads,
Just
Kevin.
do the
That's
ads,
all we
right?
need.
Exactly. I
right.
think we should just run with that. Hey, I got a disturbing mailbag the other day. This is from my accountant. I just wanted to read it with you all.
I like the fact that your accountant's listening and he's sending.
That's phenomenal.
Mailbag from the accountant. All right. Mayor Tom, it came to our attention that you are part of a partnership called Left of Center. Now, this is my accountant. I have your K1 and have done an amended return to include this for 2020. I will have the return ready for signature on Thursday. There are balances due to federal and state in which you will need to provide checks to be included with the mailing. Let's just say I'm going to give you an approximate number. I owe $540-ish and
$1,000.
No, $540 to the feds, and I owe a couple $100 to the state. What the hell is going on? I'm paying to be on LockPod?
Congratulations.
What the hell?
I think that would count for all of us.
What the hell? Like, this is the last thing I need. It's bad enough
There's
that
only
I'm
one person that isn't paying.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm paying taxes to be on LockPod so that Steve can make money, right?
I think that's how it's set up.
What the freaking hell is going on?
Steve's
Hey,
gotta
this
get
is
in
your
the chat here.
this is your counseling. That's how you have to look at it.
I don't know about
It's
this.
a way to get your name out.
So anyway, I have to pay my own personal money to be on LockPod.
That is great.
Nobody ever told me this when we started this partnership.
Does that change things?
We got to. We're season 4's over.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, this is our last show.
So Steve, thank you. I mean, you're welcome for us busting our ass twice a week, pre-show, getting on the air live so that Steve can make, and paying our personal money so that Steve can make money. Seems like a great deal.
Steve's just like, keep reading those ads, boys.
Shut up, McDermott, and read.
Just read the ads so I can make
bullshit.
a paycheck.
He's texting me right now. Can we move on from this conversation?
Okay, next mailbag. This is from Bobby L.
Bobby L.
It's not Bobby Lendy.
Bobby
by the way.
Lendy?
No, it's not. It's Bobby with I-E.
Bobby L.
Hello. I'm sure you've received several complaints about trains in Hammond, but it is excessive the amount of times I have left 40 minutes early for work and get caught by a Hammond train that still makes me late for work. I think there needs to be a way to avoid this issue because I know I'm not the only one who is wronged by these trains. No one needs to get in contact with me. I just wanted to let you know that I'm a very displeased Hammond resident.
Wow.
By the way, we do have a way in Hessville to get you over these trains, and I'm getting shit from a one-man protest that I'm going to wipe out. I'm literally going to wipe out too many trees, and we're going to do this project, and every tree that is eliminated from this bridge that we're going to build in Hessville will be replanted at a 2-for-1 basis. But Bobby, we are working on getting you over these stop trains. Unfortunately, only Congress and the president could eliminate this problem, and they're not interested in eliminating it. So in the meantime, I get to get complaints from people that are for the bridge and against the bridge. So
we're going to find out.
Welcome to being mayor.
Yeah. I think the survey is a good idea.
Message from Mary Kay.
Another mailbag.
So I heard you like to toke sometimes.
I haven't heard that word in a while.
I imagine this is for me, not for Kevin.
I would assume, yes.
Nothing wrong with toking, and I'm not going to judge you because of it. I believe in the saying, to each his or her own. It's not right, and it's ungodly to judge other people because only one person can judge us, and that's the man upstairs. At the end of the day, we're all going to have to answer to him regardless.
All right. Well, toke away.
Yeah. All right, I got another one. I'm not going to tell you who this is from. So I think you're going to like this. This is one that's familiar to the people on the show. I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to let you guess who it's from, okay?
You should sing it.
Ooh.
Okay. Since you've been gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. I look around, but it's you I can't replace. I feel so cold, and I long for your embrace. I keep crying, Mayor, Mayor, please. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. That's from Dan the Tracker. Thank you, Dan.
I thought you said DT.
That's from Dan the Tracker. Thank you, Dan.
Wow.
Singing
must be a police fan.
A police
Sting.
song. Yeah. Every breath you take. Since you've been gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only... Come on, guys. I see your face.
I want you to keep going.
I look around, but it's you I can't replace. I feel so cold and I long for your embrace. I keep crying, Mayor, Mayor,
That was your
please.
ad. You had to add
That was Dan the Tracker, man.
DT.
Anyway.
All right. Wow.
Mailbag.
Has he been around?
No.
You haven't seen him?
I think I'm shaming him. And he probably quit his job because he's a member of St. Thomas More, the church, and his kids go to school there. I shouldn't say that, but he tracks me, so I track him. I'll be honest with you.
He doesn't have any kids.
So he's like a church-going dude,
he's a
holy
nice,
person,
nice Catholic boy.
And he gets hired by Todd Young to follow me around like a creep. So I'm just trying to shame the guy. I mean, seriously, what kind of asshole takes this job?
Well,
hey,
I mean,
I want you to follow around.
I think it's more on Todd. Hire.
Yeah.
Like this kid's probably just trying to, I want to be involved in politics. What can I do?
So
and
you're going to follow him around
gets.
like a creep.
This is the job they give him.
Right.
I mean, we didn't,
Well,
we have people working for your staff.
If
We
they
don't
told
say,
me-
go follow somebody.
If they told me to go follow somebody and I'll pay you for it, I'd say, I'm a little too ethical for that. I'm not going to do that. It's creepy. Right?
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of person, right? To
Agree.
do this.
And this guy is a member of St. Thomas More Catholic Church. I mean, you would think
nice
that
family.
unless he's a fraud, you would think he's like a holy person and he would have higher standards and just follow people around with a cell phone on like
it's like I think that Todd's campaign has some issues there. I mean, that's kind of low morals.
Look who's here. Hey, guys.
Speaking of high morals.
Perfect timing, Mr. Mayor. Come on in, sir.
Look how nicely dressed he is, by the way.
Hey, come on over here by me, Mayor. How you doing, sir?
Mayor Joe Hogsett in the Lock Pod studio.
That was perfect timing, too. We just finished all of our preliminary business. Nice to see you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, how are you?
Thanks for being here, sir.
What's up, Mayor Joe?
Have a seat.
Kevin?
Yeah. You remember Lindsay and John, right, Mr. Mayor?
Of course.
What an exciting moment. Finally,
Come on in. Pull up right against the chair and throw on those headphones, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, this is something. Mayor Joe Hogsett in the house.
I'm honored to be here.
We are honored to have you.
Of kin. Second time. Welcome back, sir.
I even brought some notes. And
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
I want to begin by just underscoring how Tom McDermott is all over Indiana.
I am.
Look at that.
This was at the Irvington Halloween Street Fair Festival.
Yeah.
And I was working the crowd, and, of course, prominently featured was, can we get this on?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
McDermott for Indiana.
Look at that good-looking guy.
Is it
United
metal?
States Senate. No,
I was like 31 in that picture, I think. No gray hair.
Speaking of 31,
No
John,
wrinkles.
can we throw up something for Mayor Joe to look at? Hold on, Mayor Joe. You got to look at the screen here.
Mayor, when we
Speaking of
announced
31,
you were coming on, your super fans and NWI started coming out of the woodwork.
All right.
And one of them posted this on social
look at
media.
that. Look at that, Mayor Joe.
Oh, Dodie.
This is from 30 years
That's
ago
Dodie.
with
Oh,
Dodie Russell.
Oh, my.
She's a super fan of the show, Mr. Mayor, and she's also a huge Democrat. She's a huge fan of yours. She's part of our the premier sponsor for LockPod, so she's a huge D. She loves you. She loves our show.
You want to give a maybe approximate year there, Mayor Joe? You got a Barron Hill
Barron
sticker.
Hill is on the,
So what?
Yeah,
That's 96?
you know what? That probably would have been 1990 because Barron Hill was running for the United States Senate, and I was running for Secretary of State.
Wow.
Now that shirt that Dodie's wearing, is that when Barron walked across the state of Indiana? That's his track?
I think that's. I think that is reminiscent of his Ohio River to Lake Michigan walk, where he ended it by jumping in Lake Michigan.
That's
no
great.
kidding.
He walked the entire state.
Wow. I mean, Mayor Tom was tired from driving the other day, and he only
I was bitching about it for 3 days.
Well, and the truth
That was
is,
basically my route, too.
You know what it was?
and the truth is that the photograph embarrasses me because I was so much younger then.
Well, we were all younger then, Mr.
And
Mayor.
you're still in the game.
Yeah.
Mayor of
Well, yeah,
Indianapolis.
and I'm so glad to be at LockPod today.
Thank you.
And spend some time with both of you. And I'm going to go around Northwest Indiana, say hello to several of our fellow mayors
Nice.
In the area, and spend the day. I just don't get out of Indianapolis very often, and I thought I'd come up for the day. And, of course, there's no better way to start the day in Lake County than on LockPod.
We like to
Thank
hear
you.
that.
Amen.
We like to hear that.
So did you
are
stay
a
the night
fan.
up here last night?
No, came up early this
Wow,
morning.
Mayor. You're
Go home late tonight, but I've got a full day ahead of me, and it's starting off just like I'd want it to, and that's spending some time here.
Hey, Mr. Bear, you know, you have a lot of fans, myself included, Kevin. Actually, you have 4 fans in the studio. There's a lot of people that were hoping that maybe you were thinking about your own, statewide run in a couple of years. There's a lot
Unless
of
you're running
options.
for Senate next year against Tom.
That's all right. Just tell me, I'll back out. I promise. I believe in rank, and Mayor Joe is much higher rank than I.
I think this answers your question about
Thank you, sir.
next year,
Thank
or
you.
this coming year. Look, I am focused, as I know you are, with a campaign at the same time, but I'm focused myopically on the city of Indianapolis and making sure that the challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic have had on communities throughout Indiana, that we are focused like a laser to get through this process. And one of the ways that COVID has affected Indianapolis, like so many other urban areas, and I know you both talk about it occasionally here on on the broadcast, is just the exponential rise in the level of gun violence that we're experiencing. So the good news is that because of President Biden and Congressman Mervan and Congressman Carson, the city of Indianapolis received $420 million.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Man. How much did the schools get? Do you know? A similar amount?
Yeah, I mean, not anywhere near
Right.
as much, but proportionately, they got quite a lift. And
you're talking about the American Rescue Plan dollars.
American Rescue Plan dollars. It's $420 million. It won't surprise either of you or your audience to know that, given what we're undergoing in terms of gun violence, the bulk of that money will go to public safety.
Good for you, Mayor.
And to making our community and our neighborhoods as safe as we can possibly make them.
We're having 2021 is probably the most violent year Hammond's have had. I don't know, in 20, 30. I mean, definitely in 20 years. It's unbelievable.
It's true everywhere. Now, here's the thing that we face. Mm-hmm. Whenever I do make the assertion, which is true, that every urban area in the country has experienced an exponential rise, particularly in gun violence.
It's true in Hammond.
People look at me, and I understand why. They say, well, yeah, but we don't live in all those other cities.
That's right.
We want you to make sure that Indianapolis is safe or that Hammond is safe.
Right.
And so we're using a bulk of our largesse as a result of the American Rescue Plan for rather than the concept of defunding the police, we're actually expanding for 100 police officers, and we're putting over $160 million of that money into public safety upgrades, better technology, increasing our civilian police force, which can handle non-emergency situations so that sworn officers, and then, of course, we're putting an unprecedented amount of money into neighborhood-based, community-oriented crime reduction, crime interruption, crime disruption.
Let me ask you guys,
programming.
both Democratic mayors, obviously. The right likes to label us as, you're going to defund the police, you're not pro-police. I know both of you guys, and you guys are both obviously very much supportive of your police departments. Mayor Joe, how do we as Democrats kind of overcome this attempt to label us as soft on crime or soft on police?
Well, I think we have to be real, and particularly with ourselves and each other, and make your positions known, and stick by what you think is in the best interest of the people that you represent. Now, this is a good example. When I was putting together the budget for the city of Indianapolis in 2020, there was a lot of people talking about defunding the police, reducing law enforcement, and our commitment to
Was it
law
coming from your
enforcement.
council or coming from people?
It was coming from many friends of ours throughout our party, in all four corners, at least in Indianapolis, all four corners of Marion County. And I just simply had to tell them that I disagree.
Good for you, Mayor.
And at the end of the day, it is irresponsible for a mayor to not do everything within our power to protect the safety of our communities. And that's exactly what we did. And so when I say, we have to be real with ourselves, that means being real with those who happen to be our friends and happen to be party members, but we have respectful disagreements. And as long as you honor your commitments, I think at the end of the day, we will turn the corner. I hope that 2022 is less violent than 2021 has been. And the truth is, in Indianapolis, as you know, I got elected initially in 2015. We had actually made enormous progress in terms of overall crime and particularly gun violence, to the point where between 2018 and 2019, for the first time in 10 years, Indianapolis actually experienced a decrease in gun violence.
Yeah.
Then, three months later,
pandemic.
in March of 2020, boom.
Yep.
And it's been very difficult for cities like Hammond, for cities like Indianapolis, throughout the country. It's been a very difficult time, but we're making that commitment, and we're absolutely focused on keeping our neighborhoods, our streets as safe, and our residents that feeling of safety that they deserve to have when they travel in our city.
Your city's gorgeous. I love staying in Indy. I always make sure that, if I get a layover, I always want to lay over in Indy. I have my routines. I know where I like to go for breakfast, and I just love your city. It's gorgeous. You've done a great job as mayor. I know you've done a lot with transportation, which is totally impressive. Like and I'd mentioned it last time you were on, what you've done with the bus lines and the red route and you have a new green route going, I think east to west is.
It's purple and blue.
Purple and blue.
So
I love it.
You got the routes right. You just have the colors wrong. You got the colors wrong.
My bad, Mr. Mayor.
And that gets me into infrastructure, because I know that Mayor Tom has dedicated a lot of his ARP money for infrastructure. I was reading that you had a $400 million infrastructure plan. I assume that's not going to be a lot of ARP money, but you are investing in infrastructure in Indianapolis.
Yeah, we have. In the time I've served as mayor over the last 6 years, we probably have invested nearly $1 billion in improving, upgrading, updating the infrastructure that Marion County, which, like so many communities, has been long ignored. The proverbial can has been kicked down the road in terms of investing. And so with the commitment coming from Washington, D.C., with the new passage of the infrastructure, it's not going to happen overnight, but we really want to continue to modernize Indianapolis's roadways, our bridges, and those things that make cities cities.
What's going on in D.C. with, the infrastructure bill that just passed is a godsend for us. I know in Indiana, $9 billion coming to Indiana, and our representatives, out of the 11 representatives we send to Washington, D.C., only 2 voted for it. That's insane, Mayor Joe. What's going on? You've seen the world change since you've been in office. And when you have a bipartisan infrastructure bill, you only get 13 people cross over and vote for it. It's just what's going on in America, Mayor.
Yeah, if I had the answer to that, I'd share it with you, and you could take it with you to the United States Senate.
I would.
The truth is that at the local level, as you know, Mayor and Kevin, we have to get things done at the end of the day. We're not afforded this luxury of distance and ideological, chasms. As mayors, you got to make sure the potholes are filled. You got to make sure the trash is picked up. You got to make sure your roadways and your bridges, your trails are updated so that your quality of life for your residents is. So in answer to your question, I wish I knew what Washington, D.C. was thinking. I would be happy to have Washington come out to Indianapolis and see what we're doing on those very issues. I just passed, or the council down in Indianapolis just passed our 2022 operating budget. Congrats. Each one of those 6 budgets, I inherited a $50 million structural deficit in my budget. For the last 5 years, we have had fully balanced budgets. Each of those budgets have passed with strong bipartisan support. In fact, 2 of those budgets were passed unanimously.
That's great.
We have 25 members of our city county council.
Wow.
And in the last term, we had 13 of one party, 12 of the other. Now, that's tailor-made gridlock, right?
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances.
Right.
And yet that council passed a budget 25 to nothing.
That's right.
Well, that's
all
testament to them and
Republicans,
you, Mayor.
all Democrats voted
Right.
for the budget. Why can't Washington
That's right.
do that?
That's exactly. You know why? Because your council cares about the city in Indianapolis, and they would, instead of fighting with the mayor and trying to undercut the mayor, they want the city to move forward. That's why. That's the difference.
You're absolutely
And in D.C.,
right.
you've got this partisan gridlock where people are more concerned about their political futures and what someone's going to do to them in a primary. Think about it. You had 19 Republican senators vote in August for that infrastructure bill, right? Neither of the Indiana senators did.
Right.
I said something the other day that I thought was important. I said, I'm going to win a 6-year term, and I'm going to be in there. And my job as U.S. Senator for Indiana is to work with the president. And right now, the president's Joe Biden. But if it's not Joe Biden, unfortunately, and he's not successful, my job isn't to undercut the president. Because if I'm successful in undercutting the president, I'm hurting our country. That's what's wrong with our country right now. I want to work with the president. We may not see eye to eye on every issue, but I want to work with the president. And it's all tribal now. It's like, I'm on this team. That means I'm against this person. Or I'm on this team. That's why I'm for this person. It's not getting us anywhere, Mayor. And that's why you're so successful in Indianapolis. It'd be like if you looked at the parts of Indianapolis that are Republican, and there are parts of your city that are Republican, and if you took the same approach that the Republican Party is taking with America right now, you would be ignoring huge parts of your city, which is just doesn't make sense for any mayor.
Well, you both hit the nail on the head, and that is what we have is a group of elected officials at the local level in Indianapolis, and you have the same up here in Hammond, who at the, when the vote has to be taken, and at the end of the day, Republicans and Democrats come together to do what is best for Indianapolis.
That's right.
And it's not a partisan issue. It is completely trying to come together to move our city forward. Why that can't be done necessarily at the state level here in Indiana, of course, they're dealing with supermajorities in both houses of the Indiana General Assembly, and certainly why it is tribalism in Washington, D.C., it's very discouraging.
I want to throw two names out to you, Birch Bayh and Dick Lugar. I mean, you grew up knowing them.
Yep.
I'm sure you knew them both personally. Well. And you had one as a Democrat and one as a Republican. They got stuff done.
Yeah, and that's a very, very good example where let's take the judges, which are always controversial for you're going to have to be voting on the affirmation of judges.
Yes, sir.
Senator Lugar and Senator Bayh just agreed early on that if there were judge openings in the federal district courts in Indiana, whether that be up here in the Northern District or in the Southern District, or whether it be the U.S. Attorney or the U.S. Marshal, they both agreed that if the president happened to be a Republican, which for many years when they both served together, George W. Bush was president, or if the president happened to be a Democrat, i.e. Barack Obama, then for George Bush vacancies during his presidency, Senator Lugar made the selection and Evan Bayh supported it.
Right.
Same was true with Barack Obama. Evan Bayh made those appointments.
Or Bill Clinton.
And or Bill Clinton. And Senator Lugar supported that. So
two gentlemen, though.
It really is the way things ought to work out there. And I think we miss that kind of leadership.
I quote, I think one of the reasons you asked that question is when I'm on the campaign trail, I talk about senators. Like, I talk about Evan Bayh, of course. I talk about Birch Bayh, of course. I talk about Joe Donnelly, of course. But I also talk in Indiana, I talk about Richard Lugar. I said Richard Lugar wouldn't have turned down ARP. Richard Lugar would have brought the money home because he wanted what was best for Indiana. And Richard Lugar, I was mayor when he was senator. I forgot how long it was. It was close to a decade. 2012 is when he lost, right? He visited Hammond so many times. He cared. And I respected him for that. It's a U.S. senator, even though he's in the other party. Todd Young, Mike Braun, they don't give a crap about Hammond. They really don't care about Lake County. They come up here if they get an award or something like that. But other than that, we're just part of the enemy territory with them.
Well, and just the fact that they're not voting for these bills, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense because it doesn't move the country forward and sure doesn't move the state forward if you're going to vote against these bills and then come up later and say, don't worry, we're going to get you the money. It's crazy. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they appear at any of the ribbon cuttings.
They're not going to in the region.
I think, I guess my only comment in that regard, Kevin, was you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
Agreed, Mayor.
You can't have a principled vote against a piece of legislation and then show up on the day when that legislation has transformed in some meaningful way the city of Hammond for better roads, better bridges, better access, better trails, better greenways, better, that you just live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yesterday in our local paper, Todd Young was on the front page saying, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to help the cities and towns of Indiana get the most out of their ARP money and their infrastructure money. And I'm like, are you serious?
That I didn't vote
like
for.
Like you said, I voted against it, but now I want to help you get as much money as you're entitled to. It's like, get out of here.
He thinks, I loved your tweet, Mayor Tom. You said, he must think Hoosiers are dumb.
Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, Donald Trump, I'm going to make you happy, Donald Trump, and then I'm going to go back and sell it to all these people in Indiana to make them think that I was actually supportive of this. It's Mr. Mayor, one of the things about being mayor is we're held accountable, right? We have public hearings. I was in one last night. It was supposed to be a crime watch, and it was like a mayor's night out. It was like an hour plus. I was grilled publicly. It was tough, right? I know you have these types of things all the time. You know, it was pointed out to me on the campaign trail that if you become a senator, are you going to be accountable? Are you going to have public meetings? I said, I do it all the time. There's no reason I would change now just because I'm a U.S. senator. I mean, what's your experience in that regard?
Yeah, I think the philosophy that I would encourage you to adopt is to be as present as you possibly can, just because you're in Washington, D.C. The truth is, one of the primary differences of what you and I experience today and why it is so different in Washington is because of that very fact, the distance. When you're mayor, you know, I drive home at night, and if I've done something boneheaded, which I do on hopefully infrequent occasions, I hear about it
For sure.
from my neighbors, or if I'm in a supermarket.
Yeah.
You'll get stopped,
yeah.
I'm sure, very often and say, Mayor, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yes, sir.
If, or I should say, when you become a United States Senator, if you maintain that presence, and so that you are coming back home to Northwest Indiana, you are traveling throughout the state of Indiana, and that you're doing what our state party is doing right now in smaller communities with this listening tour that they are engaged in. I couldn't agree more. I would just simply say that as a senator, you know, it's very important, maybe even more important, to listen to what real Hoosiers and real Americans are experiencing. And when I say real, I mean day-to-day people who are struggling with gas prices, who are struggling with, you know, putting food on the table in meaningful ways, keeping home ownership a reality. Those are the issues that people are concerned about. And if you listen to cable talk, you would think that all that's important is reconciliation and whether enough votes can be, you know. In fact, I think in no small measure, the reason why we endured the losses as a party in those special elections that occurred several weeks back is that we lost sight as a party of what is truly of concern to day-to-day residents of our communities throughout the country as a whole. And unless we get back, and until we get back to that, until we stop listening to the talking heads in Washington and start listening to the steel workers in Lake County or the teachers in Indianapolis, that's where the bread and butter of representation in Washington, I think you will do an outstanding job, because as a mayor, that's all you've known.
Accountability.
Getting up close and personal and being held accountable by the people you represent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to ask, and Mayor, Mayor Joe, you just brought up, and I know Mayor Tom's experiencing this now as he's on the campaign trail. You know, you grew up in a small town. You grew up in Rushville, Indiana, right? And now you're mayor of a big city. So you've seen it from both ends. And one of the things that the Democratic Party, I remember when Mayor Tom was first elected in 2003, and I know you saw it back in the 80s and 90s, is that Democrats did real well in rural areas. Democrats had the Ohio river towns, you know, and throughout. And I like the fact that Chairman Schmuel's going back into small towns. And I know that Mayor Tom's making a push for the rural vote. So how do you think how can we get it back as a party, and why do you think, I mean, you grew up in a small town, so you know this, Mayor.
Yeah, I've lived, as you just said, Kevin, I've lived both sides. Grew up, graduated from Rushville High School, and so my early years were in distinctively rural Indiana. And now I've spent my entire adult life in the most urban area in our state. So it's kind of both sides. And we need to find a way, and I'm glad that Chairman Schmuel and Tom, when he's traveling, as I've listened to you on the podcast talk about the cities and communities that you're visiting, that we are sitting down with people in these communities, listening to their concerns. And here's the important thing, Kevin. The concerns are not as different today. You know, for example, corn and pig farmers in the rural parts of our state need the same cutting-edge technology as our tech companies do.
Yep.
And I could go on and on with many other examples of where this historic rural-urban divide that has permeated Indiana politics for so long really no longer exists realistically. And we need to come together and recognize that until and unless we acknowledge that we're all in this together, we better start making those changes. And those changes start not just at local level, but I am glad that we are traveling to local communities and listening to them. Mm-hmm. You know, I really like the chairperson's emphasis on we're not necessarily talking to rural Hoosiers. We want to listen to them, to hear what their real concerns are and how we can, as a party, meaningfully address those real concerns.
Well, Mayor Tom, I mean, you told me this from the trail. You said, I didn't realize, we live up here in Lake County, we're near Chicago, the broadband. I mean,
broadband, how huge that is outside of the urban areas. I mean, obviously I live in an urban area just like Mayor Joe, but you go out to, southern Indiana and some stretches out there, and just downloading a movie off of Netflix is impossible because of the rural connections, the broadband connection, or, having your kid, do virtual learning from home is just not possible. And, think about how many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids were affected when we had to go into our house and go to school and they can't connect up to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, this is just yet another example of how these rural-urban divide issues are really out of date because, as you experience, broadband, as a good example, is every bit as important to the people of Jackson or Jennings County,
for sure,
where I know you've been,
yes, sir,
as they are Lake County,
yes, sir,
or Marion County. So the differences that have divided us historically over time just simply don't exist as they once did. And if there ever was a time, and there certainly was, where certain individual elected officials would advocate certain parts of our state over and against other parts of our state, those days are over, and we have to acknowledge it. Let me just give you one last, I think, really, really good example of where rural, suburban, and urban issues are coming together. Marion County and the metropolitan area of Indianapolis is now over 2 million people.
Wow.
And the truth is that we are collaborating and cooperating, both Republicans and Democrats, in urban Indianapolis, in suburban metro Indy, and even in the counties that are now 2 counties or 3 counties out. We are now cooperating in ways in central Indiana in ways we never have before. And I have no doubt that it is because my friends on the Republican side of the aisle, who happen to be mayors or county leaders, have come to realize that instead of being opposite, like, okay, well, if you're the mayor of Fishers, you want Fishers to win.
Right.
And the mayor of Indianapolis wants Indianapolis to win. No, I think we all acknowledge that when Fishers wins, Indianapolis wins, and vice versa. And that's why I feel so passionate and I'm so encouraged by your candidacy, because I think that kind of an attitude, different from what we've been seeing coming out of Washington, D.C., is exactly the way we're going to be able to move our cities, our state, and our country forward.
Can I ask you a question off charts a little? When you were young, did you know you were going to be an elected official?
Well, I was always drawn to politics and to public service. That's why when I went away to school to Indiana University, I majored in history and political science, which my parents often asked me the question, well, what are you going to do with that? But
you've done all right
off to law school.
You've done all right with them, Mayor.
That Kevin, that's absolutely right. I mean,
we all did.
In those days, if you wanted to go to law school, you majored in history and political science.
Yep.
And then I got to law school, and I found out the smartest people in law school were music majors,
Right.
English majors.
Marissa, English major.
Yeah, I mean, just
Steve, English major.
It was just the complete opposite of what I expected. But no, I've always been interested in civic life, in public affairs, in public service. Obviously, for the majority of my professional life, I've been in the private practice of law. My partners from time to time have asked me over the years, are you planning on taking any more sabbaticals, as they would refer to it, in terms of stepping out and to either serve as Secretary of State, which I was honored to do for 6 years, or to serve as the United States Attorney under President Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder for 4 years. That was we've talked about this in an earlier podcast. Wonderful experience for me.
And you did a great job, by the way.
Well, I hope we made a difference in the southern part of the state, and it truly, in retrospect, was one of the best jobs I ever had. Now, I happen to hold a job that I love dearly and want to be as successful as mayor as I hope I was as the United States Attorney, but each of the opportunities that I've been given have presented different challenges, which kind of gives you new perspectives, keeps you thinking, keeps you growing, keeps you evolving, and I hope I'm as well prepared to continue to serve as mayor in meaningful ways in the city of Indianapolis.
Well, we're incredibly lucky to have you as a party. We're incredibly lucky to have you as a fan and a guest in our studio, Mayor Hogsett. And I'm a huge fan. You've always been gracious and generous with me and with your time and your advice from the very earliest days of my career. And I really appreciate you very much. And I think you're a great mayor. And I appreciate you coming to Lockpod, Mayor Joe. I mean, you're one of the leaders of our party. And, I've been in the party for 20 years, and you are like way above the hierarchy on me, and I just appreciate you.
The state of Indiana is lucky to have you, Mayor Joe.
Thank you, Kevin. I would be remiss if I didn't mention in conclusion that one of the delights that I enjoyed early this morning, because I am such a fan of Lockpod, that
we love that. Record that, John.
Coming down Calumet, I went by Misprint.
That's
Printing.
right.
Wow,
that's right.
look at that.
And Rick Baltzberger.
Rick Baltzberger and his team are there for all
Wow.
of your.
There
you go, Mr. Mayor.
I don't even know Rick Baltzberger.
There you go, Rick.
But I feel like I do.
Sounds like Rick's going to have to renew his sponsorship.
We love you, Mayor Joe.
I went by Misprint Printing.
That's
so
awesome.
Look at that.
I'm all in.
Mayor
Look,
Joe,
Mayor
thank
Joe's
you so
awesome.
much for everything. Keep on doing a great job in Indianapolis. We appreciate you very, very much.
We do look forward to you traveling as often as your schedule will
Yes, sir.
allow
I'll be
to
down.
our city. You are welcome to come for any and all events.
Thank you, sir.
And
It's the heartbeat of our state. Your city is the heartbeat of our state.
It's an important area politically.
For sure.
As you know, Marion County, in my adult lifetime, when I first moved to Marion County, there was not a single elected official outside of Center Township, the very urban core. There were absolutely no members of our party elected to public office.
That's crazy.
And now, here, just within our adult lifetime, now every single countywide elected official in Marion County happens to be Democrats.
That's right.
It definitely goes in circles.
But, as I said, that hasn't changed the way we've approached it. We get along with our friends on the other side of the political aisle because that's what we're elected to do.
Thanks, Mayor Joe.
And as long as you keep that as your philosophy, I think the sky's the limit for
Thank you, sir.
Mayor.
I appreciate you. Thanks for coming to Lockpod.
Yep.
Thanks for the audience. Jay Vez and Lindsay, great to see you. Sorry, there was a lot of talking that show.
That's okay.
I loved it.
Yeah?
I got some homework done.
You got some homework done? How's the chat? I imagine chat was going crazy, right?
I think they were just listening.
They were
a lot of
engrossed.
times when it's quiet, it's because it's a good interview.
So we appreciate Mayor Joe for driving up here. And good luck in your travels around the region. Thanks to Jay Vez for putting together a good show. Notorious LMP. It's great to have you back, sweetie.
Thank you.
Of course, Kevin Chandler Smith, the caboose. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, coming from the locomotive, thanks for listening to Left of Center. And again, to Mayor Joe Hogsett for making the trip up here. We're very, very honored. Good to see you all. See you guys on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.